Hey crafters, Jessie Katz-Greenberg here, and today I'm going to show you how I made one-of-a-kind colorful patchwork curtains for my living room. I would call this a beginner intermediate project. If you have some sewing experience, this will be a pretty easy project for you. If you have no sewing experience, if you're a total beginner, you can do this project. The steps are all relatively simple. There just happens to be a lot of sewing. Curtains are big, we're doing patchwork, so there's just a lot of sewing to put all these pieces together. But if you have the patience and determination, you can do this. If you're new here, my name is Jessie Katz-Greenberg. I am a crafting expert. I teach live workshops and I share content here and on social media, mostly a lot of fiber art, paper crafting, seasonal projects, and upcycling. And this happens to be a rare video where I'm diving deep into a more in-depth sewing project. I'll list all of the supplies that you need below in the caption with some helpful links. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my channel. All of those things really help out small creators like me. So with that said, let's jump into sewing some colorful curtains. Start by gathering your fabric. You'll want a variety of colors and patterns here. And you want fabric that doesn't have any stretch to it. So quilter's cotton is great. You could repurpose tablecloths, flannel, anything without stretch should work just fine. I also looked for a variety of transparency so that the curtains filter the light in a really interesting way. Iron all of your fabric, and then I laid mine over the couch just because I wanted it to stay nice and flat, not get any new wrinkles in it. Next, cut your fabric into squares. I'm using a 12.5-inch quilter's square template here. I'll link that in the caption. I used these weights just to hold the template down on my fabric so it was easier to cut. I'm cutting on a self-healing cutting mat, and I'm using my Fiskars rotary cutter to do all of the cutting. Now, before you cut your squares, you're going to want to calculate how many squares you need. We're using a 12.5-inch square template here, but there'll be a 1/4-inch hem on each side. So assume your squares are 12 inches and determine how wide and how tall you'll want your curtain panels to be. For the width of your curtain panel, you will definitely want it to be divisible by 12. So for example, I think I was looking to make like a 55-inch wide curtain panel, but I rounded up to 60 so that I just need 5 12-inch squares across my curtain. You can do the same thing for the height, except add about 4 inches to the height so that you can use it to make a rod pocket, which is just a pocket for your curtain rod to go through. Next, plan the layout of each curtain panel. You could do a brick repeat like this, which means the seam of one square would intersect with the middle of the next square, but ultimately I felt like just doing a checkered repeat would look a bit more streamlined, where you just have columns and rows of squares like this that all line up. And when planning the placement, I tried to make sure that I had even distribution of light colors, of dark colors, and of fabrics that really grab your eye. Starting with one vertical stripe or one column, you're going to stack the squares that are next to each other on top of each other, right sides together, and then pin together with straight pins. I took my time here to make sure that the squares were as lined up as possible. I used 3 or 4 pins per seam. Once you have your first 2 squares pinned together, you can flip that down, move it up, and you'll repeat with the following square. In my case, my strips are 7.5 squares tall, so I did this for all 7.5 squares of each vertical strip. You'll want to move slowly with this part. The more time you take pinning and aligning everything now, the easier it will be to sew everything and then piece these strips together later. Use a straight stitch on your sewing machine and stitch a little forward, a little back, and then continue stitching forward again. That's just to lock your seam, and you'll want to do that every time you start a new seam. And then just sew down the entire edge of the squares that you have pinned. And remember, your squares are pinned together, right sides facing each other. Remove your pins as you sew, and then at the end, you're going to sew backwards again and forwards to lock the seam, just like you did when you started. After you've sewn one square, you'll remove it from your machine, trim the extra thread, and then move on to sewing your next square. Repeat this process until you've sewn all of your squares in your vertical strips or your columns together. So by this point, with my curtains, I had 5 vertical strips or 5 columns of squares sewn. This part is optional, but I felt that it did make my curtains look a little more finished. So the seams where the squares meet, I'm just finger pressing, pushing with my fingers or my nails to flatten those, and then I'm going to iron them. The only reason I'm using a scrap fabric here is because that cream colored fabric has like a metallic ink on it, and I didn't want my iron to mess that up. So if you're working with fabrics that have metallic inks, just use a press cloth like that. But if your fabric doesn't have metallic ink, like these 2 squares here, you can just go ahead and iron directly onto those seams. This next step, also very optional, head back to your sewing machine and along every seam, use a zigzag stitch to add some decorative top stitching. Just like you did before, lock your seam by stitching forward, backward, and forward, and then stitch down the entire seam to add that zigzag stitch. I just felt like this gave my curtains a bit more of that patchwork effect. I did it with orange thread, so it stands out a little bit, and it'll look like that on the front. On the back, you can see the zigzag stitch, and it's going to help leave the edges of your fabric flat. Once you've done that with all of your vertical pieces, we are going to attach these long strips basically the same way we attached the individual squares. So I'm starting with just 2 of my strips, the 2 on the right side of my curtain, and I'm going to lay them on top of each other, right sides facing each other. These longer pieces of fabric are a little bit trickier to line up, so you really want to take your time here. And what I'm doing is slowly moving down the strip, and I'm making sure that the edges of the squares all line up. Then you'll pin, again using your straight pins, all the way down the edge that you're going to sew together. Now, instead of pinning all of your vertical strips together and pinning together the entire curtain, you're going to want to do this one strip at a time. So you see here, I'm pinning together just 2 strips of fabric, then I'll go and sew those, and then we'll pin the next one and sew that. And you'll just repeat the process until you've sewn the entire width of your curtain. Sew these vertical strips together the same way you sewed the individual squares. So you're using a straight stitch again. When you start stitching a row, stitch forward, backwards, and forwards, and then just continue stitching with your straight stitch all the way down the length of the fabric. Once you get to the end, lock your stitch by stitching forward, backwards, and forward, and then remove your fabric from the machine and cut off your extra thread. So here are those 2 strips of fabric that we just sewed together, and now I'm going to pin the 3rd strip. Just like before, paying close attention to make sure the seams of the squares line up, so I know that when I'm looking at my curtains, it's like I'm going to be looking at straight rows of squares. You'll sew that together the same way and just repeat for however many columns you need to get the width of the curtain. We're now back with that tedious optional step of pressing out your seams and ironing them and adding the zigzag top stitching. You definitely don't need to do this. It's a teeny tiny detail, but I did really like it, so I took the time to do it to all of my curtain panels. So just like you did before, finger press your seams, iron them flat, and then on your sewing machine, use a zigzag stitch to stitch all the way down these long seams along the vertical strips of your curtain. And here is what it looks like when I've got that orange thread creating the zigzag stitch on all of the edges of the squares of my patchwork curtains. Next, you'll hem the sides and the bottom of your curtain. Leave the top alone for now. So I could, of course, pinned this. I am hemming a 1/2 inch on the left side, the right side, and the bottom. But I'm going to be totally honest, by this point, I was sick of pinning. So you see me sewing a little bit slower here because I'm folding over the 1/2 inch hem as I go. Just like with all of our stitching, you saw me stitch forward, backward, forward at the beginning to lock that stitch, and then just slowly folding over the fabric as I go to get that 1/2 inch hem. And then I'll do that right, left, and bottom. And right now as I sew, I'm looking at the back of my curtain. So I'm folding the fabric to the back to create that hem. If you are creating a curtain for an extremely precise measurement, when you are starting at the beginning and determining how much fabric you need, keep in mind that you will be taking a 1/2 inch off of each side at the end for this hem. But in my opinion, these curtains, they're kind of, hippy-dippy, not meant to be perfect. So I would aim for having just a fuller, more bunchy curtain and not be so precise with your measurements. This is just another angle looking at me creating that hem. When I watch myself back, I realized I probably should have just pinned it. This would have been a little bit easier. But like I said, I was sick of pinning, and it was easy enough to fold over the 1/2 inch hem as I sewed up the sides and the bottom. At the top of your curtain, you'll need a rod pocket, so I folded over about 4 inches of fabric, and I'm paying close attention to make sure that the seams of the squares right here line up with each other, and then you'll pin that together and sew it. Your rod pocket can really be whatever size you would like. You just need to make sure that it's going to fit over your curtain rod. I forgot to say, but hopefully you'll notice, again, just like the hems, I'm folding this rod pocket to the back of the curtain. So the part that you see me aligning and pinning here, this is the back of our curtain panel. So here we're looking at the back of the curtain, and I'm just going to sew all the way down the edge of that rod pocket. Locking the stitch at the beginning, I'm going to lock the stitch at the end, and then of course remove it from the sewing machine and cut off all the extra threads. Your curtains are now essentially ready, which is so exciting. The only thing you want to do just to make sure they look their best is go through and cut off any extra threads from the sewing process. And then also, if you want to be extra fancy, go ahead and iron your curtains again. This is just going to press them out. It's going to make them really nice when you go and hang them. And of course, if you're like me and you have multiple windows that need curtains, you would now repeat this process for however many windows you have. I had 3 windows in my living room that I needed to cover. I decided, since these curtains are so time consuming, and honestly, also they're just so busy, that I would use just 1 panel per window. So I have 3 windows, I sewed 3 curtain panels. This means I could style them like this, letting them fully filter the light, tie them off to one side, which, spoiler alert, this is usually how we have them, or you could tie them in the center. I'd probably do it a little bit lower if I was going to do that, or just have them pulled to one side of the window. And finally, after many days of sewing, like many full days of sewing, I have my 3 curtain panels and they are exactly what I wanted. Even Spike is exhausted, but content with the outcome. My favorite thing about these is that all of the fabrics have sort of a different transparency to them. Some of the squares really let in a lot of light, some block almost all of the light, and I think that that makes them really interesting. I don't take on a lot of large-scale sewing projects. This one tested my patience, but in the end, these curtains bring so much color and warmth to the living room. I am really happy with them. And there you have it. I told you it would be a lot of sewing. It certainly is, but in the end, it was worth it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Jessie Katz Greenberg. Please subscribe to my channel to make sure that you see my upcoming tutorials. Like and comment on this video. It really helps small creators like me. And until next time, stay crafty.